Yep. Yep. I'm doing it. I guess I finally caved. I finally caved and I'm doing a top 5 video. Yeah. If that gives you any indication of how I'm doing creatively. In all seriousness, my name is Marky Mark, and I'm here to present you with a top 5 video, because it's taking me forever to create my upcoming big project type video that will, like I said, eventually come somewhere down the line, but you know, it's taking me a while to get there. So for now, I'm giving you this top 5 video, my top 5 guilty pleasure games. Now, what do I mean by guilty pleasure? Guilty pleasure games are games that for one reason or another don't really deserve any amount of praise, whether it be due to how mediocre they are, or how difficult they are, or how glitchy they are, or for one reason or another, these are the games that I enjoy playing that basically nobody else likes. You know, whether it be the forgettable games, the just downright awful games. It's any video game that a majority of people online in the mainstream don't care about and have likely forgotten about, or to some degree. These are the games that I enjoy that nobody else likes. Thank you for watching. Now, let's begin. Ecco the Dolphin. One of the most divisive games of its era, to be sure. It's a game where you play as a dolphin who has some sort of special thing going on with him, where he comes from another planet or something, and he has these special powers because he is a well-endowed, special dolphin that is better than all the other dolphins. He's the chosen one, is what he is. And also, I have this plushie of a dolphin to show you what kind of a fan I am of this game. Because while this game is on my guilty pleasure list, it's because the game is really good. It's really one of the most beautiful games I've ever played in my life. I mean, if you just look at the art that this game really is, as you float through these levels, as you swim through these immaculately designed stages, it's beautiful, is what it is. And the music is the best music that you'll hear from any game from the Genesis era, I promise you. Ecco the Dolphin is straight video game poetry. But the problem with it is way too damn hard. Even though this game is way too damn hard, it's way too archaic, it's way too ridiculously just of that era of video games where the game developers were doing everything that they possibly could to prevent you from beating their game in a full weekend, and by doing so, they went out of their way to make the game extra challenging, even if the ways that the game made it more challenging was complete bullshit. I still can't stop myself from coming back to play this game from time and time again. I love the art behind this game too much. I love its psychedelic vibes, and I love the idea that you can take a dolphin and make him something more, make him this heroic savior of all sea creatures and sea anemones. There's so many little things that this game does to screw you over. You can get stuck on things really easily. There are these dolphin-esque physics supposedly that are super sensitive, and you have to be supremely precise in every move that you make because of just how fragile this ecosystem is, and how everything wants to kill you, and the things that do want to kill you just like teleport next to you and they follow you everywhere. And then there's also that awful trick that games from this era did, where even if you killed an enemy, the absolute second that you leave that certain area where that enemy like hangs out and spawns in, the absolute millisecond that you leave that area and you come right back to it, that enemy is there again. The enemy has just respawned out of thin air, and I absolutely hate when old games did that. You killed the enemy, but since you left the area where it spawned, we're just gonna go ahead and respawn him and make you have to take care of him again. While Ecco the Dolphin is a beautiful game, it's way too difficult. But because it's a beautiful game, I find myself continuing to come back to it and continuing to be disappointed over and over and over again. One day, I will find a way to beat this game. I will find a way to beat this game in its entirety, and I can finally respect it with everything that I have. But until that day comes, this game is going at the bottom of my guilty pleasures list. Jurassic Park is the tale of two games. On one hand, you got a bird's eye view free roam type game style where you're running around, defending yourself from dinosaurs, shooting them with weapons that you find lying on the ground, and you have to find eggs. And you have to do just a bunch of crazy crap that you couldn't possibly do unless you had a walkthrough. Because this game doesn't provide you with any map, and it wants you to do things in such a way where you'll go to one place, accomplish one thing there, go to the other side of the map, accomplish one thing there, and then at some point come back to places that you've been before to accomplish specific things, and basically you just do that, rinse, repeat for this entire game. Now, when you're in the bird's eye view version of this game, where you're running around, exploring, looking for eggs, killing dinosaurs and such, this isn't really all that bad. Like, it's kind of, it's not that bad running around killing dinosaurs. And it is kind of cool, the amount of effort that they put towards this map and the way it looks, and really capturing that Jurassic Park vibe. I think they did a good job with that here, and the dinosaurs can be quite menacing, I will say. Overall, it's not a bad time navigating this overworld. There are some cheap moments where you can get crushed by rocks and insta-death, or there is the Triceratops that will insta-kill you as well, and come out of nowhere, and it sucks. Or there will be a giant freaking T-Rex, which honestly is not even that bad of a deal to die from, because whenever this happens, where the T-Rex shows up out of nowhere, it's more of a cool spectacle than a terrifying moment of, oh crap, I'm gonna die. So I like that. Now, once you start entering buildings, suddenly the game switches to being this cheap, low-resolution first-person shooter situation where all you have is a D-pad to turn left, right, up, and down, and you turn so slowly, and there are dinosaurs everywhere, mainly raptors. And you will enter these rooms where the doors will slowly open, and while the doors are slowly opening, raptors will almost immediately start attacking you. And sometimes some of these raptors will be hiding on the other side of the texture of the doors. So even if you enter a room and you can hear that there's a dinosaur there growling at you, there's nothing you can really do about it, because the dinosaur will just be hiding behind the door and will just immediately start attacking you. And since you turn so slowly, there's no way you're going to be able to take out all the dinosaurs in the room without taking a couple hits to your health. This whole first-person shooter game within the game here was just so poorly conceived in every way. I put this game on my guilty pleasures list because I am just so fascinated by how a game could be mismanaged this much. It's one of those games that's almost fun to laugh at. That's fun to experience just for the kicks of playing a poorly conceived game like this. While Jurassic Park for the Super Nintendo does capture the overall vibes of the movies very well, its gameplay leaves a lot to be desired. I just get a strange perverse satisfaction out of playing a game like this, because this game is brutal, and there's simply no beating it unless you have a walkthrough, because if you don't have a walkthrough, there's absolutely no way that you're going to be able to run around and accomplish everything in an efficient and timely manner. Then of course there's just the first-person shooter situation, where everything about it is just awful. I mean, all I can really say after this is just play this game for yourself. Just take a few minutes to really try this out, and you'll see what I mean. This game, at the end of the day, is not something that anybody is going to appreciate or enjoy because of how poorly designed it is, but it is something that would just be fun to pick up and just, torture yourself for a little bit if you're one of those gamers. So I give this game credit for capturing the Jurassic Park vibes very well, and for also just being such a game that lives in that will ultimately live in infamy, just because of how just anti-fun it is. Okay, Pac-Man World. This is yet another one of those games that it's like almost fever dreamy with the fact that it even exists. It's yet another one of those Mario 64 clones from the PS1 era that tried to capitalize on the boom in 3D gaming from that time. And here you have it, Pac-Man World. Look, this game is not going to revolutionize 3D gaming. It's not going to wow anybody. It's not going to change anybody's life by playing it. It certainly won't be something that you'll remember much about when you walk away from it. But look, you have to give it a little bit of credit for not screwing up. You have to give it credit for taking its limited expertise in the field of 3D gaming, taking its limited talents and making something halfway decent out of it. It's not a very difficult or challenging game, which to me is a benefit to its benefit, because that means you're never going to get really all that frustrated playing this game. If anything, it's a very low stress experience, and that's what I really appreciate about it. Nobody else besides me probably cares about Pac-Man World. Nobody else remembers it, but I do. And I do come back to it from time to time, just because I appreciate video games that feel like a walk in the park to play them, if that makes sense. If I go up to my friends and I tell them that Pac-Man World is a game that I like to play on a consistent basis, I'm probably going to get some weird looks, and I might even lose a few friends. And possibly subscribers. But that doesn't matter, you know. I like what I like, and I respect Pac-Man World for what it does. So, thank you, Pac-Man. Waka 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 waka. Yes, I know. Everybody loves BanjoKazooie. I love BanjoKazooie. It's hard not to love BanjoKazooie. BanjoKazooie is a fantastic platformer, and there's a reason why everybody still talks about it to this day. And there's also a reason why nobody talks about its older brother? No, it would be younger brother. It's younger brother, but also bigger brother, BanjoTooie. Nobody talks about BanjoTooie. And the reason for it, I guess, is because it's just too big. Nobody really caught on to its need to be epic. BanjoTooie is basically just BanjoKazooie, but bigger, better, and uncut. BanjoTooie was actually the first game that I ever covered on this channel way back in the day when I was far, far younger than I am now. And I was defending that game back then in that video. And I still stand by that to this day. You want to know why? Because I actually thoroughly enjoy BanjoTooie, and I legitimately think that it's better than BanjoKazooie, because in my mind, it's literally just BanjoKazooie, but with more stuff, with more to do. It's a more fully formed version of BanjoKazooie. It's BanjoKazooie realizing its truest potential. I'm not knocking Kazooie in any way. It's just that Kazooie to me comes off like a baby version of BanjoTooie. I don't mind the larger worlds. I don't mind having to explore or run back and forth to do stuff every now and then. And I also respect how it really tried to just take things to such a more massive and grander level than Kazooie did. I mean, Kazooie to me was just a baby step, but Tooie was like the full enchilada. I will admit though, Grunty Industries is a kind of a blemish on this game, I'm not gonna lie. To this day, I still don't look forward to playing it versus any other levels, but I tough it out just because I love the game, BanjoTooie, and I'm willing to suffer a little bit for the art here, you know what I'm saying? People who prefer Kazooie over Tooie, I think at the end of the day, they just prefer a more streamlined experience when it comes to that kind of 3D platforming. And that's all well and good, but for me, I like to have a little bit of dirt under my nails, I guess, when it comes to certain games. And Tooie to me is an epic adventure. It's one of my favorite games on the Nintendo 64, and it's one of my favorite games, period. And I will never stop loving it, no matter how old and decrepit I get. I will always enjoy running back and forth to give French fries and burgers to fat bear children. I will always love fighting giant pterodactyls that spit loogies at you. It doesn't matter. I love BanjoTooie, and that's why it's this high up on my list of guilty pleasure games. So step off, okay? If you disagree with me at any point during this, feel free to leave a comment. Yeah, speak your mind. Okay, look. Let's say we ran an experiment here. An experiment where we took every single video game in existence that's ever been made, and we put them on a bar, on like some sort of, you know, measuring stick, where the bad games are at one end, and the best games of all time are at the other. And then you have the most absolute average games in the middle. I guarantee you, Sonic 3D Blast, if we made this sort of deal, Sonic 3D Blast would fall in the absolute center of this graph. Sonic 3D Blast is most definitely the most average / mediocre game in the existence of all video games. And I still fucking love it. I don't know what it is about Sonic 3D Blast. Maybe it's like the philosophy I described with PacMan World, where it's just so unchallenging and so unbothered to push you to work hard that it's the most stress-free game you'll ever play. It's this Sonic 3D Blast has an energy about it where if you're ever having like a mental crisis or something like that, or some sort of existential depression of some kind, for me personally, if that were to happen to me, I would start playing Sonic 3D Blast. Because this game truly is my medicine with life. Whenever life is getting me down, Sonic 3D Blast is there for me. It's not the greatest, most revolutionary Sonic game ever. It's not the greatest, most revolutionary game, period. In fact, there's a lot of problems with it. You got the pseudo 3D isometric situation going on here that makes it very difficult to like measure your jumps and very difficult to see where you are spatially in terms of like the overall map and just your location, period. Like, I couldn't tell you how many times this isometric 3D bullcrap has screwed me over when I'm fighting a boss, when I'm trying to make a jump, all that crap. And also, you know, Sonic, he feels like he moves on ice skates. He's extremely sensitive, and he's like skating around the place, and it's very easy to get thrown off course. The flickies are extremely annoying to collect, especially when you take a hit and they start flying and jumping all over the place and actively making your life more difficult. And it's also just hilarious how you have these enemies who are not threatening in the slightest. Like, I can't think of any enemies in this game that truly put up any sort of a fight. But at the end of the day, with all this crap that I'm saying, to me, none of that matters when I'm just playing through this game and I'm just feeling absolutely stress-free. I'm not going to be able to convince anybody to care about this game, and I accept that because it doesn't matter. There are far better Sonic games to play out there, but I don't care. I love Sonic 3D Blast. I think it's I think it's great for just how middle of the road it is, and it's my favorite guilty pleasure game, period. Well, that's it, guys. Those are my top 5 guilty pleasure games. Do you guys have any games that you like that nobody else likes, and that if you admitted to liking those games to those people, they would laugh at you? If you do, let me know down in the comments, because as far as I'm concerned, this is the holy grail, baby. But in all seriousness, you guys, thank you for your patience. I'm working on my next big project, and I decided that I would put this one out there to satiate the masses a little bit. So just hang tight, and we will carry on my wayward son, because the next video is going to be a good time. It'll be fun. So thank you for your patience, and I'll see you when I see you.